Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? I'm doing well. Thanks. Thanks for asking. Yeah. Yeah, we're doing a stream today. It's a nice Saturday Eve. 4th of May, happy Star Wars, etc. I'm not doing a Star Wars today. I'm just doing some tier lists. Haven't done like a haven't done like a tier listy stream in a while, and the non-game streams are fun, and also like people tend to show up for them. um I really like doing the versus Capcom streams where I put together rosters for versus Capcom games that don't exist. I really like doing my Shonen Jump like preview streams, my Shonen Jump ranking streams. So today we're just gonna do random rankings. Excuse me. We're just gonna do random rankings today, man. We're just do like dumb tier lists. And instead of just like what's my favorite Super Nintendo game, we'll do rankings. I mean, maybe I'll do some rankings for real. But we'll also do some very like subjective rankings. Like yeah, if you're looking at the title, you're watching this live, you're looking at the title, you already see what we're starting with. Um but yeah, that'll be kind of the vibe for a lot of this. I don't know how long I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna do this until I'm just gonna do this for as long as I feel like it. And if people keep coming in and watching and contributing, I'll probably go for longer. Yeah, input will keep me motivated tonight. Um, yeah, it's been kind of a long week, and I guess I've been stressed out. I've been stressed this week. My anxiety hasn't been great lately, and yeah. So if it seems like I have if it seems that I have an opportunity to prioritize rest tonight, I might do that. But also, if you guys keep suggesting things for me to rank and make tier lists of in chat and they sound fun to do, I'll probably end up running up the entire stream time for tonight. Um yeah. If tonight seems stupid, I'll be back on Monday. I'm starting Portal 2. I'm starting a full playthrough of Portal 2. Um and then next Friday and Saturday I will also be doing streams. I forget what, but my schedule's actually kind of up to date. So if you're on Twitch, you can kind of look at my schedule and see uh see what my plans are for upcoming streams. But okay, yeah, let's do our first tier list. So we're warming up with this tier list is which what each playable Street Fighter 6 character uses as their primary social media platform. Um so we have the Street Fighter 6 cast. This list covers up to Ed, and maybe I'll figure out a way to include Akuma if people ask for it. Um but yeah, this is the main Street Fighter cast, and we have several categories for which social media platforms they use. We've got Facebook, like the Street Fighter character uses Facebook. We've got they use Twitter and they call it Twitter. We've got they use Twitter but they call it X. Those are different categories. I feel like those are distinctly different personalities. We've got they use Instagram. We got they use Tumblr. We've got TikTok. We've got Mastodon. And then we've got other because like Mastodon feels like a distinct type of person to me. A Mastodon user sounds feels like a distinct kind of person, but like other like I feel like Threads and Blue Sky like I feel like everything else is like so specific that at most it will apply to like one character. So like we've just got a section for other, right? We just got a section for other. And if I put a character in other, I'll explain which social media they use. I have to pick a social media for everyone. I can't be like they don't use social media at all. I have to pick a platform for them. Um but yeah, with that established, let's start with Ryu. And Ryu is our first other. We'll start out the bat with other for Ryu, because Ryu has a MySpace. Um, he Ryu is basically he's basically a homeless person, like by choice, right? He's not really a technology guy. He's rarely around a computer. Um, like he's like just straight up a nomad that like sleeps in forests and mountains and stuff. Um, is very like yeah he very much just pursues fighting and doesn't really care about like material stuff like internet and computers. However, Ken and Chun Li have insisted um that he get some kind of social media and use it to keep in touch with them. He needs to let them know when he's in town, so he should get like a social media platform and just log into an internet cafe, you know, just go to an internet cafe and just let them know that he's around. Like Chun Li's like, yeah, I need to take you shopping for that awesome outfit that you wear as your outfit 3. So like let me know when you're in town. And of course they told him to do this like 20 years ago basically. Um and for the purpose of this, I'm going sliding timeline, right? Like if you're doing really hard math, Street Fighter 6 takes place in like 2010. But obviously a lot of these didn't exist in 2010. So we're assuming that Street Fighter 6 is present day. Um is Threads on here? We're doing other. Threads counts as other. Like I just mentioned that that like Threads, Blue Sky, um, like those are all so specific and they all kind of hit the same function. Like Mastodon's here because I feel like Mastodon hits a specific type of person. Um, but I don't think there's a lot that distinctifies a Threads user from a Blue Sky user. So Threads is part of other. But yeah, Ryu is a MySpace user because yeah, like Ken and Chun Li got on his ass about like getting social media so he can keep in touch with them. Um, and they tried to get him a Facebook, but because he doesn't have any like ID on him, he's not even really super sure what his last name is. um like Facebook kept preventing him from making an account because he couldn't verify his identity. Uh Threads is putting in the minimal effort to leave Twitter but didn't want to make a new account. I guess, but that's so specific. That's so specific. If a Threads user is in the cast, I will specify, but it doesn't get its whole entire own button. Um, But yeah, Ryu couldn't make a Facebook account because Facebook wouldn't authenticate his identity. So he just got a MySpace account, and like basically when he's in Metro City, when he's in the USA, like he'll go to an internet cafe, he'll log into MySpace and be like, "Hello, Ken. You asked me to let you know when I was in the area, and I like to let you know that if you would like to spar, I will be here at this time." And the problem is that the only reason Ken's MySpace account is still active is just in case Ryu hits him up. Uh, so he like almost never sees Ryu's correspondence anyway. He never sees it because he only checks MySpace to see if he got any messages from Ryu, and Ryu always leaves MySpace messages when he's not expecting Ryu to do it. Luke. Luke has a TikTok. Luke mainly uses TikTok. He's on a lot of these. Like he has a Twitter. Um, and he has an Insta, but he's mostly on TikTok. Um, and a lot of it's just thirst traps. A lot of it is just like him in his gym working out, and and just like doing like mewing memes and like Chad memes. Uh, and occasionally like he'll do a story time TikTok that he'll have to take down because it becomes apparent that he's committed a war crime in his story time. Uh so yeah, that's Luke. Luke's on TikTok. Jamie's also on TikTok. I'm not really gonna do like I guess I'll put Jamie closer because Jamie is more on TikTok than Luke. Now, Jamie does like all the dances, right? Jamie does all the dances. He also he also has TikToks uh of like him preparing like his family herbal drink recipe. But he doesn't divulge all the ingredients. He just shows it being prepared. Um and and of course also like martial arts stuff. He doesn't do thirst traps as much as Luke does, but he's not above thirst traps. um and uh and he does have more followers than Luke. And they have kind of like a heated rivalry over that. And yeah, like he also has a Twitter. He doesn't really use Instagram though. um Jamie calls Twitter Twitter, Luke calls Twitter X. Chun Li. Oh, I didn't really think about Chun Li. Chun Li has a Facebook account. Um, she's not really like super. She's not really a very parasocial person, so she mostly just like wants to keep in touch with her friends and family, right? Um, and like kind of see what they're up to, like seeing pictures of Guile's family and and like posting little photo albums of oh, what's her name? Yeah, okay. Good. I did guess right. Um, little photo albums of like Lee Fen like training, and um and she'll post like, stupid memes of cute animals because she's like in her 40s or 50s at this point. So she is kind of like old lady posting on Facebook a little bit. Uh she's a bit more savvy than like a standard boomer, you know? She's a bit more tech savvy. Uh she's she's a she's not as cringe as a standard person her age, but she's a little bit of an old lady on Facebook. Guile is on Mastodon. Guile's on Mastodon. Guile is very much like Guile, unfortunately, is like a never Trumper Republican, basically, right? Like no, he did not vote for Trump. No, he does not support Trump's policies. He thinks Trump was a buffoon for his whole run. But uh like, like he did always vote the red ticket like uh every every campaign before Trump, right? And so now on social media, like, he's just like he's just on Mastodon, just like basically complaining, just like being an old man just complaining about stuff. Um he also does have a Facebook to kind of like keep in touch with Chun-Li. Um and uh keep an eye on his kids and stuff. But sometimes he'll just post like libertarian rants on Mastodon, basically. Mo He doesn't really tell his loved ones about it much, because they would be embarrassed if they knew about it. Kimberly's on TikTok. The the closer the closer to the closer to the left they are, the more followers they have. Um so Kimberly's on TikTok, uh big on dances, big on martial arts, like doing stunts and stuff. She has some parkour TikToks that are doing big numbers. Um and also just like the thing with Kimberly is that she has like seven different fan bases, right? There's a fan base that watch her do dances. There's fan bases that watch her for like her athletics and her martial arts. She has a fan base for her like explaining like physics and science and like and like math. Like she can explain it in a way uh that's like easier to understand for people that are not quite as smart as her. And and so she's very popular on TikTok. Yeah, and she's on there all the time. Jury's on Twitter and she calls it X, and she mostly does that to annoy people. She's noticed that a lot of people get mad when she calls it X, so she does that to get under their skin. Um, she she mostly she's mostly just trolling on Twitter. She mostly just like leaves hate tweets like in people's replies. Um, She also has an OnlyFans. It's mostly feet pics, but I'd say she's more active on Twitter. Moving on. Ken is also on Twitter, and he does call it X, unfortunately. Um, he hasn't been active for a while, ever since he got framed for like uh for for a mass murder conspiracy. Um, like he's deleted most of his social media since that happened. But up until that point, he was very active on Twitter, and he did call it X during the you know after the name change. He did call it X. He's definitely like an Elon apologist, or he was for a while. It got harder and harder to defend him over the years. Uh, but like Ken canonically got in trouble with his shareholders for like investing in cryptocurrency. Like that happened in the comic book tie-in to Street Fighter 6. So like he is a millionaire slash billionaire that kind of sympathizes with the dumb shit that Elon's been doing. So he does call it X. Um he has realized that Elon is stupider than he is. Uh because Ken's not that. So Ken's a fairly smart guy. Um but he now calls it X out of habit. But his account has been like privated or deactivated ever since the Nashal incident. Ooh, okay. So Blanca's tricky. Um Blanca's tricky. I think so so I'm leaning towards TikTok. Let me kind of he's not really on Facebook. Um he's definitely tried Instagram, but yeah, I think mainly he's on TikTok. Um he's on TikTok trying to drive tourism to his hometown in Brazil, trying to sell Blanca Chan dolls. Um he's largely unsuccessful in these endeavors, and I'd say he's so far the least popular. He's got the least followers. He doesn't have zero followers, but like he definitely you can definitely tell he there is uh there's definitely a ratio of how much he's trying to like go viral and be successful versus how much he actually does. And like um there's more effort than there is results. Dalsim just has a Facebook. Dalsim just has a Facebook. And he hasn't used it in like 4 years. Like for a bit he would kind of like make posts, like make status posts here and there, very long ones, just kind of musing about the sanctity of life and all that kind of stuff. Um, but like really he doesn't really use the internet much. He doesn't care to. Um, yeah. So he's on Facebook, but he rarely uses it. E Honda's on Instagram. E Honda's on Instagram, and um he is posting videos of like martial arts demonstrations and pictures of his Chonko stew, his famous Chonko stew, pictures of the dishes at his restaurant, uh pictures of like the martial arts awards he has won. Um he's not incredibly active. I'd say he makes a post like, you know, once or twice a month. But he's not really using much social media otherwise. So Instagram is kind of um his main deal. DJ. DJ was an Instagram guy for a while. Um and also I don't know if Spotify counts, but obviously he's big on promoting his Spotify. Uh but he recently migrated to TikTok, and yeah, he's doing big numbers. It's a celebrity TikTok. Like he's just there like lip syncing to his own songs that have had audio from his songs is all over TikTok. Um so he'll just like react to his own audios, right? And like like answer viewer questions and stuff. Like he's really active for like a couple weeks, and then he posts like once like every 1 to 3 months, right? But his every time he does post, his TikToks do like big ass numbers. Manon is the Instagram user. God, she's like she is against all odds still making like pretty good money off of Instagram. Like pictures and videos of her doing ballet, but also pictures and videos of her doing judo. But also pictures just really good, really professionally made photos of like her in all kinds of fashion. She looks amazing in every picture. Um yeah, like people follow her for the aesthetic. She has an aesthetic Insta that is just huge. What like one of the most like followed Instagram accounts in this era of Instagram. Maurice's on TikTok, um, and she she doesn't realize that she's become a thirst trap account, but that's basically what she is. Like it's TikToks and videos of her like working out uh and her performing feats of strength, right? but it's stuff that like it's stuff that she doesn't realize that people are like sexualizing to the degree that they are. Um like she'll post up a TikTok of her like crushing a watermelon with her thighs. It'll get millions of views and she'll be like, "Oh, they think I'm strong." And it's like that's not why you have so many likes, Marisa. I'm sorry. But also once she does eventually find out that um people are following her because they're horny. And when she does find out, she doesn't mind that much. It doesn't devastate her or anything. She doubles down at that point. Um and nobody complains. Um JP is also on Mastodon, just fucking writing manifestos, and he's got like 3 followers. He's all he's also on Truth Social, but he's mostly on there finding like gullible people to like recruit to his cause. He's he doesn't really believe what anyone on Truth Social is posting, but he's finding marks and like, and kind of fueling their uh like feeding into their delusions so he can fill them with psycho power and make them go berserk. So yeah, I'd say he's doing that more often than he's making Mastodon posts. So he's mainly a Truth Social user, but also you know he's not much he's not much of a social media guy. Damn, what's Zangief do? Zangief is a Threads user. Zangief is on Threads, like because he likes. I think he likes the Twitter format of like he's a shit poster, but he's very earnest about his shit post. He doesn't think he's shit posting. Like he'll just make a fucking like dad/grandpa post. It's like when the cyclone is red, and it'll get a bunch of ironic likes and reposts, right? Um, yeah, he can't really be um he got banned from Twitter when he called Elon Musk weak. Um, and yeah, he couldn't really be bothered. He had an Instagram account, right? Like kind of posting just pics of his muscles. Um, but he wasn't very active on that, so it was just Threads happened and he just made the Threads account because, you could just transfer his Instagram account over. He's not crazy active, but he does get a lot of engagement, at least for Threads. Lily. Lily's on Tumblr. Lily's on Tumblr. She's posting a lot of like aesthetic photos of like, of of uh of what like her camp or whatever, wherever it is that she lives with her tribe. But also she does a lot of like poetry. Um and she kind of uses her Tumblr like a journal a bit. and kind of talks about like her day and the people that she cares about, um and she it's hard for her to do that on other formats, right? So she's mainly on Tumblr. She doesn't have a lot of followers or anything, but she's not really looking for them. You know, it's just kind of personal gratification for her. Like it's self fulfilling for her to be able to do that, for her to kind of express herself online. Um, Cammy seems like a tough one to figure out, honestly. Um, yeah, the thing is, she's kind of a private person. She doesn't like to be public facing very much. So she does kind of just have a Facebook to kind of just keep in touch with her close family and friends. She mainly just uses Messenger, to keep up with her loved ones, and that's basically it. Rashid is so on TikTok. Um, really like Rashid's on TikTok, but he's also like a Twitch streamer, right? And a lot of his TikToks are just kind of like edits of his streams. Um, but he does make content specifically for TikTok too. A lot of him like doing parkour and stuff, like to whatever the most recent song is. Um, whatever the whatever's trending, he chases a lot of what's trending on TikTok, on Twitch, on YouTube. So, he has garnered a following. Um, but he is less popular online than Kimberly or DJ, both of whom put less effort into their social media presence than Rashid does. Aki is also on Tumblr. Um, she does a lot of like posts about her poisons and stuff. And people think that she's an RP account that isn't actually posting her illegal activities. This is compounded by the fact um that she also just has a lot of text posts where she talks about like how horny she is for her master that is twice her age. Um, so people think that she is just like RPing, but she is just making honest, earnest Tumblr posts about her life. Um, Finally, Ed. Okay, I need to make sure I'm not like there's a temptation to fill in the blank spot, but I want to make sure that that's not you know um Ed's not really on Facebook. Ed would not call Twitter X. He'd be like, fuck that, it's Twitter, I'm calling it Twitter. um Instagram doesn't really feel like his vibe. He has a Tumblr account because Falk has a Tumblr account, and a lot of members of his crew have Tumblr. um because a lot of them have like the edgy goth thing going on. Um, but Tumblr is also like a little cringe for him. He does not have a TikTok because he again, Falk will send him TikToks, but he doesn't like actively. He doesn't make TikTok posts himself. He does not really want a public presence like that. Um, Honestly, he's kind of an obnoxious hipster. Um, so I think he did make a Mastodon account. Um, but ultimately, I do think that he's on Twitter and he calls it Twitter instead of X. Um, and a lot of it is just him, like it's him with an anonymous account. He's not on there as Ed, but it's like him, like yeah, him with an anonymous account, just like picking fights with a lot of it. Like he's just getting into a lot of internet arguments, right? Uh, Mostly with people that like more or less deserve it. Mostly with like morons. He's picking fights with a lot of blue check marks. um, Incredible tier list concept. Thank you. I had the idea earlier, like last night, basically, and then I remained obsessed with it, and I needed to kind of get it out of my system. So yeah, there's no Akuma icon. Um, it'd be kind of funny to say that Akuma has a LinkedIn account, but yeah, it's hard to imagine him with any social media because it's similar to Ryu, right? Like Akuma is basically like by choice like a homeless person that doesn't really use the internet. I did say earlier that Ryu has a MySpace. I don't think Akuma even bothers to have a MySpace. Um, I feel um like he needs a Facebook account to make an Instagram, and he would have the same problem that Ryu did, where like he doesn't have IDs and shit. Like Facebook would ask him for verification and he wouldn't have it. Um, so I think um so I think Akuma would basically just have like a Twitter. He wouldn't even commit to calling it anything. Um, just basically so like Gen can DM him for fights. You're surprised Dawson knows what social media is. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, he knows what social media is. His son's on social media. His wife's on social media. You know, um, the the cop man that he's training uses social media. Um, so he's mainly just on Facebook to keep in touch with his loved ones, and that's it. Like I did mention earlier, he rarely uses it. He hasn't touched his Facebook in like 4 years, but he does have one. He does have one, and like he checks Messenger occasionally, just to keep in touch with family. Ryu would be on Insta and would just post sunrises and shit with captions like "grateful for today." That is very funny. That's very funny. But what I said with Ryu is that basically like Basically what I just said for Akuma is like he's not really using social media. He doesn't care to use it. Um, like he is a nomad that does not have a computer and like lives in mountains and caves and stuff, like basically like Ken and Chun-Li just insisted that he get like something so he could keep in touch with them and let them know when he's in town. So he begrudgingly got a MySpace because this was like 20 years ago. Um, and he'll log into an internet cafe when he strolls into Metro City just to give Ken a heads up. But yeah, if he were more inclined to be an internet user, Instagram's a great fit for him. Yeah, and that's the cast. So yeah, so the closer they are to the left, the closer they are to the top left, the more followers they have, the more engaged they are with that service. Um but yeah, to sum up for anyone joining late, we have Chun-Li, Cammy, and Dalsim in Facebook. As Facebook users, these are mainly people that just use it to keep in touch with their friends and family. That's their main use for social media, and they're not really like big on being public facing or having a social media presence. Um, Ed is on Twitter and he calls it Twitter, and he mostly just gets into fights with blue check marks. uh, Ken and Jury on Twitter, and they call it X. Ken because he was an Elon apologist for a while, um, as a canonical cryptocurrency bro, and Jury because it makes people mad. Jury because she's a troll. Manol and E Honda are on Instagram. Manol is a big aesthetic poster, a big fashion poster, and she also has videos of her modeling and her judo. And she's big. She's very popular on Instagram. E Honda is less popular, but he still does okay. Um, he uh he he has like pictures and videos of his martial arts and his like trophies and achievements and stuff. But also he advertises the restaurant a lot and like posts like does like food posting, posts like close up pics of his chonko stew and that kind of thing. Lily and Aki are on Tumblr. Lily does aesthetic posts of like nature, and she also posts poetry online. Um, Aki, everyone thinks that Aki has an RP account, but she's actually posting about the illegal poison she makes, and also like horny posts about her her old man mentor. And everyone thinks that she's just like RPing like an insane person. Um, but no, she's being her authentic self on Tumblr. DJ, Kimberly, Rashid, Marisa, Jamie, Luke, and Blanca are all on TikTok. Aki's Tumblr gets banned at some point. No one ever figures out that she she does get suspended a couple times for posting not safe for work content after Tumblr has banned it. Yes, actually. Yes, you're right. But it gets reactivated and she's just more careful. Um yeah. And yeah, in that order, DJ has the most popular TikTok because he's a celebrity. It's a celebrity TikTok where he's both basically just like posting his music, and also like just a lot of his songs are just TikTok sounds. So he will react to other people using his songs as sounds. Um, he'll duet a lot of people that use his songs as sounds. And yeah, he's become less active in recent years. But whenever he does make a post, it's a big deal. Kimberly is inexplicably super popular on TikTok just because she has like 10 different fan bases. She has she has a fan base for her parkour. She has a fan base for her dancing, her break dancing. She has a fan base for her educational TikToks where she like teaches math and physics and science to people uh have trouble understanding that kind of thing, and she's an academic prodigy that can kind of like break it down more easily for them. Um, and like her martial arts and ninja stuff. Yeah, she just has all these different audiences. Um, Rashid is just big on his social media presence and he maintains it very meticulously. He's also a Twitch streamer and a YouTuber. Um, Marisa just Marisa has an like a weirdly large following on TikTok because she doesn't realize that a lot of her stuff is essentially thirst traps. Like she's posting like martial arts stuff, she's posting her workouts, she's posting her feats of strength, but like a lot of that basically boils down to her like crushing a watermelon with her thighs and people getting really worked up over it, and she doesn't get it initially. She gets it eventually and she's fine with it. Once like she doubles down once people realize that people consider her a thirst trap account. But yeah, very popular. Um Jamie does dances, he does martial arts. Um Luke does a lot of thirst traps and like workout TikToks. And sometimes he does story time TikToks that he has to take down because people eventually comment. It's like, hey, isn't that a war crime? And he'll just delete the TikTok. Um, and Blanca largely unsuccessfully tries to market his Blanca Chan business. Giles, a never Trumper Republican who just like rants about millennials on Mastodon. Um, and oh shit, what did I say for Zangief? Zangief is on Threads. He got banned from Twitter for calling Elon weak. And he did have an Instagram, so making a Threads was easy. And he just like he does very cringe like old man like shit posts. Like uh, I think I said when the cyclone is red, like just that shit. JP is gaslighting and manipulating people on Truth Social, and recruiting them into his like psycho soldier ranks. And yeah, reuses MySpace. That's everybody. That's everybody who came in partway through. Incredible Zangief social media timeline. Thank you. Yeah, I Yep, there you go. There's the Street Fighter 6 cast on social media. Yeah. And at this point I'll start taking suggestions because this is the main one I thought of. I'm not sure what to do next. Stand by your KOF best hair suggestion. I like best hair. I might take that in another direction though. Give me a second. Mortal Kombat character ranked by how likely I myself would be able to kill them. That's funny. That's funny. Mm.